Welcome to Black Pepper Magazine. I just want you to enjoy this view for a moment. Beautiful. Well, we are now living in a time where a global pandemic dictates our lives, and recent events like the Black Lives Matter movement made us stronger like never before. Even though slavery kept us in shackles physically and mentally, we still sing together. Oh, yes, I know why the cage bird sings. You know, you know what's beautiful? That we are still managing to come together despite social distancing. As Marian Anderson said, no matter how big a nation is, it is no stronger than its weakest people. My name is Amina, in a green turtleneck, by the way, and I'm your host today on Meet Me Halfway. Season 1, Episode 1, Should We Get Over Slavery? Yes or no? Enjoy! Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Yes.
Why don't you restart? Introduce yourselves in 60 seconds. Why don't we start with Jacqueline?
Oh. Okay. So my name is Jacqueline. I am 30 years old. I live in Germany, in the southern part of Germany. I am a finance major, and I currently own my own African store business. And well, I don't know what else to say except that I'm very happy to be here and to see where all of this leads in some time.
Great, great. So then, Tiffany.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Tiffany Reisman. I actually reside in New Jersey. I'm originally from Tennessee. I did go to school and get my associates in applied health and science, but I'm currently working on my bachelor's in nuclear medicine technology. But the COVID kind of messed that up a little bit, so but I am also happy to be here, and thank you so much for having me. I can't wait either to see where it goes.
Thank you. So, and Moriah. Moriah or Moriah?
So it's pronounced like Moriah, but Moriah.
Moriah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm Moriah. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So right now I'm in a car because I have a mentee of mine. She's vending today. So we're trying to help her get her business out there. I'm about to be done grad school in June. I've made president's list every quarter. I've maintained the 4.0 every quarter. So I'm really proud of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that's about it right now. I have 2 dogs. That's it. Oh, and I'm married. My wife, she's vending today as well. So
yeah, great, great. So, all right. Okay, we can start with the debate. Meet me halfway. Should we get over slavery? Put your hands up if you agree that Black people need to get over slavery. Oh, okay, one person. Okay, please elaborate.
Well, in my point of view, I think we have to get over it because we have been here for our history starts for like 4,000 to 5,000 years. And somehow we let this 400 to 600 years triple us and define everything we are therefore afterwards. It's just insane how every discussion is about this topic and how we are not able to let go. I understand why we can't, but I'm just saying we should.
Yeah. All right. And Moriah?
Yeah, I raised my hand for that too. It's a caveat to why I say we should get over it, but I do think not get over or like forget it, but we do need to move past it at this point in the game. I would agree with that.
All right. Okay. And this question is for all of you. Do you feel obligated to have a specific political view just because you're Black?
I would say yes, but I hate that about us. Because it seems like to other races, I can only really speak for Black Americans. And it just seems like for other races, and I wish some of the African, young people that I know personally didn't feel this way, but they feel like we always want something or we always need something. So it does kind of put you in a box, like you have to pick where you stand. Because it's like it almost feels like it's us versus everybody, when I know for a fact it's not like that. But that's, that feeling makes me and my people feel like we have to choose, like, where do we fit.
In a sense, yes, I do feel like that, because not only does it like help, others who've never experienced it have another idea about it, but I also feel like it helps shed light on why we feel the way we feel, and how segregation definitely needs to stop. We are all one, so it's like, to me, it's like one of those things, like, we're all affected. So, we're just mainly targeting the Black community all the time. It's like, we have to come to a common ground some way, somehow. So, do I feel like that we should have a political view on it? Yeah, to help shed the light for those who've never ever had to experience what we've experienced. I can't really say we, because obviously, like Jacqueline said, it happened so long ago that we really didn't experience it. But we definitely feel like that we, in a sense did, because our color did, our culture did. So, I think in a way we should, but it's a thin line. It's definitely a thin line.
Okay. And Jacqueline, what about you?
If I feel obligated to have a political view, a certain political view because I'm Black?
Yes.
Me personally, no, I don't feel obligated. I do, however, feel that people who know what discrimination is, how it feels, how it, all of this, shouldn't be the one discriminating themselves.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
I like that.
All right. So, Black Lives Matter means to me. Finish the sentence.
Can we curse?
A little bit.
Black Lives Matter to me is bullshit. And I only say that because they ask for donations. They ask for all this money. They do all these campaigns. They were doing like a telethon where you call in and they raise so much money. But I live in Philly and none of my hood looks like anything helped. And Philly has a large majority of Black Americans in it. Like every major city, you can find most of our population. So, you're saying Black Lives Matter, but after you say that and after you put your flag away, after you take your t-shirt off, like, how is our lives really mattering? To me, it just seems like it's just some political something to ease the racial tension so that it's not like a race war. That's what I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah. Jacqueline?
Me, everything has its positive sides, but I have to agree with Moriah on this one, that it started nicely. Black people are dying in the streets. We don't have, we just have to count them. We don't have to argue about that. But the repercussions of Black Lives Matter, like last year, it was 2020, right? During Corona, and it's like, people know it's Corona, but it was too much. People were on the streets, And it started all of this debate, right? People on television talking. But at the end of the day, it was about appropriation. It was about statues. It was about things, seriously, nobody, like, I don't care about. I do not care about statues, or if white girl A or white girl B gets somehow, that is not what this is about. But in media, it just collides with all of this nonsense talking, so that it just amounts to nothing at the end of the day. It's just announced to a slogan, Black Lives Matter. Well, yeah, I know, but do you, is the question, right? I don't know.
Okay. And Tiffany?
Okay, so obviously Black Lives Matter means we, are accounted for, we're seen, we should be treated like any other color or race. Obviously, that slogan is very, very, it's broad. But again, we have to see more action. We can't, talk is cheap. So what are we going to do about Black Lives Matter? I mean, if it really matters, then let's put our foot down and actually do something about it and make us feel like we matter. Because you can't say one thing and then the next day we wake up and we're still being mistreated. Now, granted, nothing happens overnight. Now, we obviously can't just make things happen overnight. If it was like that, then none of us will be unhappy about a lot of things. We could just snap our fingers. But at the same time, if you all are going to promote something, then stand by it. Like, don't just talk about it, like, be about it, because we're tired at this point.
I think at this point, actually, we should be outraged that things are happening now. Like, now is the time that you're finding the time to change your racist corporate logo. Like, now. It never was important to you before. So how can you shout out now, Black Lives Matter? Like, it's just a trend, and they're trying to do the minimal best that they can in order to not be scrutinized by, well, angry Black mobs or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of do feel like that too. It's because it's like, now all of a sudden y'all care, but it also kind of makes me feel like, for those who actually do care, like, I applaud those people, because we can change our mind any day. We could feel some way this morning, and then later on in the day we can feel like something else and be like, you know what, I shouldn't have been like that. I really do want to make a change. But it takes more than just one person to say that. It takes more than just a couple of people. They're going to need support too, and then they're going to need real people, genuine people, not just people like, oh, you're saying it now, okay, I'm going to say it too, and then don't act on it. No, people that really feel it within and who really want to help us, because again, we're not perfect, but I'm like you, like, don't say it and then, like, all of a sudden now you want it but you're not acting on it, or I don't know. I try to be more open-minded about it, but if there's not anything changing, then obviously the action is just, it's senseless, it's useless. Like, you just talking, you're not doing anything.
Yeah. All right, so on that note, what message would you like to give to mainstream media taking advantage of the Black Lives Matter strategy?
That's a good question. I would say reparations. I'm a firm believer in reparations. I know a lot of people have
Americans so set on reparations. Who will get this money?
I think it's because we've seen our governments pay for new arenas and rebuild old statues. And you've given the Japanese reparations, you've given the natives reparations, you've given the Jews reparations, and the very people that you actually inflicted damage on, even going, not even just Americans, I'm saying, like, they need to go back to Africa too.
They need to go back to Europe and start here.
Yeah, like, we need like a full reset. Like, you guys owe people not even just money but resources.
Yeah,
like you can go to these different countries and you can steal from our black brothers and sisters in another continent, and then you come over here and then you mistreat us. So you really don't care about black people no matter where we are on the planet. Like, maybe not reparations in the sense of I need my 40 acres and a mule, but those slavery times, man, they made like cotton was like a $250 million industry. And those families who ran those cotton fields, their families still eating. Like that's where the term blue bloods came from, down south. Like they owe people something. I don't know if it's money, but they need to start rebuilding the schools or something. We need something. Like yeah. That's what I want the media to push. Like push real change. Like don't push, Black Lives Matter. Oh, let's all stand here and hold hands during the prayer and then we're cool. Like no, the media needs to be the gatekeepers. We really need change. Like Jacqueline was saying, it needs to be outrageous change. It doesn't need to be, can you please do it for us? Like, no, we need
right? No
blow this.
asking.
Yeah, like blow it up and start over. Like I'm more leaning towards the radical side. I know, but it's like I'm at this point I'm tired of it. Like, what are we gonna keep asking? We gonna keep marching.
Right.
I'm over it.
Right.
That's just me though. I could be a little radical.
No, I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree. I feel like, we can all do the best that we can, with whatever hands that we're dealt, but we need a stronger support system. You got these people up there in office and they're not really pushing it. It's like I said, it's talk. I mean, some of them are doing the best that they can, and obviously it's never a one woman, one man job, especially something like this. But you need stronger people who are going to actually make it happen, not people coming up with Black Lives Matter, which is obviously appreciative in a sense, but then again, it's like it's no action or work is behind that. So at this point, social media or any type of media should push that, like Moriah said, build stronger school systems, resources, things that were stripped from us, taken from us, that we didn't ask to be taken from us. Just start making us feel like we matter. That's
Right, like
how I
we
feel
don't
about
need
it.
it. We don't need a check per se. I don't think a
No,
check is
because
going
I
to
don't think
help anybody,
it's
but
gonna
we
do
need,
that.
yeah,
No, there's
they
not
need,
even an amount.
exactly. Yeah.
We went through too much. Like they couldn't even put a price on it. I don't even know if there's a number for that. Like, but you all can definitely, y'all could do something about that now. It's not
Yeah.
always about money. People get that
Right.
confused. Like, let me write you a check. What's that going to do? Like, I'm still traumatized. I'm still affected by things that happen that, aren't being changed or, seem to be cared about. I don't need a check. I mean, I work, I
Right.
work,
Right.
but if y'all want to hand it to me, that's fine. But don't do it just for that. Like, that shouldn't be it. I don't think.
Yeah.
So, and how would you consider yourself? More a liberal person, or conservative, or socialist? How would you describe yourself politically?
I think based off of my response, I would definitely if I hate categories, but if I had to put myself in a box, it would definitely be liberal. I don't believe in the sense of bootstrapping, like, I only believe in bootstrapping for like your personal business. Like you want to make a business and you want to grow this brand, then okay, bootstrap, start with your own money. But like as far as our people are concerned, like we have public schooling for a reason. The government needs to make sure that the public schooling is correct in every neighborhood. I don't care how you feel about the people and the inhabitants of the neighborhood. Like the schools need to be right because people perish for lack of knowledge. And I can see that every day Black people are perishing because they just don't know what to do. Like we don't have financial understanding. Like even in the sense of I'm on this call right now with two young women who are from Africa, and you guys can speak more than two languages. And we got like basic Spanish and basic French and told to pass the class, and that's all it was. I definitely think the government has to do more. You can't just say we have this great country and you're not doing anything to keep it great. And that includes everybody that comes here. I just don't think it's cool. So I say all that to say I'm definitely leaning more towards the liberal side.
All right. Next person.
I feel like I'm like Moriah. I really don't like categories. I like to, look at all sides because obviously, it takes two to tango in anything. So obviously the conservative side does play an important part with the liberal. But I would I would most likely say more liberal, just because it makes a lot of sense as to why we feel the way we feel on a lot of things. It's not saying that I want to always just hold on to how we were treated or always say, well, because of what we went through, this is why this shouldn't be this way. No, because like Jacqueline said earlier, it happened so long ago. But still, without you guys making any type of change or anything like that, it's going to keep people in a box. And, because how are you going to change my mind if you're not showing me anything different to try to change my mind on? So again, I think that definitely I'm on more of the liberal side for sure.
All right. And what about you, Jacqueline?
I think generally a more liberal person, like just let everything flow, let everything be, let's be happy kind of a person. Let's hold hands and march on. So conservatives always just means for me holding on to the past and the ways of the past because it was, I don't know, comfortable also maybe. But yeah, nothing about this is comfortable. So
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. And so, do you feel excluded from the Black community because of your different way of thinking?
Sometimes, like I said, I live in a city, so I'm kind of on the edge of like a real hard neighborhood, and the way they see life is totally different. And we all the same color. We literally use the same poppy store, like we go to the same gas station, but they see that I'm educated, I'm in grad school, I own businesses. I don't get it. Like now at this point in life, they feel like I don't get it anymore. So I'm coming down there telling them, yo, y'all can do it too. I came from the same place. If I can do it, you can do it. They're kind of like, they can't, they see me as almost like trying to be white now because I'm pursuing happiness and I'm pursuing, we have the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I'm trying to do it, and now I'm seen as a little different. So it's almost like you too black for the white kids and you too white for the black kids. That's sometimes how it feels. Unless I'm in a group of like-minded people, I do feel like I'm talking foreign to them sometimes.
All right.
yeah, I think the Black community itself excludes more people than,
Yeah.
it's just so many weird restraints on it. And it depends, for me, it depends where I am at, especially there's just too much mixes from my point of life. I immigrated here just like a lot of more people, but there are always some differences. Like they immigrated here when they were 26, so now they have already their families, their professions, their whatever. So from their point of view, I'm like on a level with their kids, or it's just so different. But I think every community that I meet kind of has its restrictions where I don't really fit in, and then I just don't care about fitting in that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
Yeah, I agree.
do your thing.
I
Right.
get it.
Do
Yeah.
your thing. You cannot stop yourself because other people don't get you.
Right.
It's
Right.
it will
You'll
not
never
help.
grow.
No, it will not help.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I can't fit in with you. I can't please you. I can only do what I feel and do,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't like it, that's okay. We can agree to disagree, and that's just how I think more of the Black community should look at things, because I personally don't think that well, sometimes like if I have like debates or something with family, either way, I'm still gonna stand on how I feel. Now, I'm not opposed to not listening. I'll listen to what you have to say and try to understand where you're coming from. But if I'm really like set against it, I can't, I don't know. I can't I can't change how I feel until I see it change. So I don't know, keep my thoughts, keep standing strong on how I feel, and that's that.
Great.
That's a good
Great.
point.
So, next question. Should LGBTQ plus rights be accepted by the Black community?
I think as a lesbian woman, I am married.
Mm-hmm.
I say keep the two separate. Do not combine how I feel like your sexual preference and a racial issue should not be intertwined, because then it takes away from both issues. Because now we can't focus on the LGBT and we can't focus on Black people. And in the LGBT community, I guess that goes back to your previous question. Do I feel like I fit in certain groups?
Yes.
I actually don't really fit in that group, and I'm married,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a whole wife, and they just be
Mhm.
like, "You're not going hard enough for our rights." But I feel like we're fine. Like, we got marriage rights within 100-year span.
Mm-hmm.
Black people are still trying to get better housing. Like, Black people have more problems, I feel like. So if we could just keep the two separated, I would be very happy. Like, just keep them separate. But a lot of people try to mix them because they're like human rights. So I get it, but I say don't discriminate against somebody just because they're different, but don't try to intertwine struggles and traumas together. I don't think that's helpful.
Okay.
But I think one is on top of the other. Like, as far as problems or identification goes, I always start like, okay, sure, I'm a human being. And then the second step of, of that list
Yeah.
is I'm a woman. So, I
Mm-hmm.
have sexist problems. Um, that's the third part. The second part is because I'm Black, like, skin
Yeah.
for sexuality. And
I
then
get it.
for some people, this list just continues. So we may have this discussion with another Black gay woman who will have the opposite side, because I don't know, sexuality has nothing to do with this, but for some people it does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it was a Black trans woman who, threw the first stone for the Christopher gay parade, and like it enmeshes at some point for a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of community. So the question is, how can we, like, it belongs to us, it belongs to our fight, because also Black trans are the most horribly treated in
Yeah.
that community. So
Yeah.
because the parallels are always the same, right? Somehow it's Black people ending at the bottom of this list. So but I think Black communities in general have problems with sexuality, with homosexuality. So that's where all of this, no, we cannot, we shouldn't, or all of this fighting
Mm-hmm.
comes about, because this, well, we have our own issues collectively.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things, like Moriah said, that shouldn't be intertwined. At the end of the day, it should be respected. Whatever one's preference is. Honestly, I have other things to worry about. I mean,
Yeah.
there's only 24 hours in a day. So like,
Mm,
let's just start at the top of midnight. Like, let's say if
yeah.
we got the full 6 to 8 hour rest, from 12 to 6, 12 to 8, we're sleeping. From 8 to 4, we're working. From 4 to 5, we're fighting traffic. We get home from 5 to 7, we're cooking, doing homework, cleaning. I mean, before you know it, it's time to go to bed, and that's not even including the things that we have to do on our to-do list. So
Mm-hmm.
where's the time to worry about the next individual and what they want to do with their lives? Like, where's the time for that? But somehow some people actually have that much time on their hands and give their opinion on if it should be accepted or not. Well, it's one of those things like, okay, why don't you like a Black person because of their shade? Why if they want to like their same sex, and that's honestly them. I mean, and a lot of times people have deeper meanings and issues and reasoning as to why they're even a part of the LGBTQ community. If people look past race and just try to be more on a humanity side instead of just being so quick to judge and trying to figure a person out and why they may go a certain way or whatever, then maybe we could all benefit from each other versus just attacking.
I agree.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Good points.
So, I once read, I quote, as the black bourgeoisie or bougie grows, we are learning that wealth is attainable for most, and the policies we were once told were racist actually just favored those who have assets and oppresses the ones who don't. Do you think um, do you think these problems are no longer based on race but on class?
I would have to agree to an extent. To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have the money, blue hundreds spend like blue hundreds. Like, you know, there's no, it's going to spend no matter who's holding it. I think where the race problem comes in is okay, now, so I have $1 million. A white counterpart has $1 million. We live in the same neighborhood. Now I start doing extra with my lawn. Their lawn doesn't look so nice. That's when the race thing comes into play. Like, okay, we have the same, but I'm better than them because I'm not black. And that's when it starts coming, like, to try to keep the wealth gap where it is. I think that's when they play on the race thing. But other than that, like, now that I'm in business, they don't care what race you are. They only use that to try to move you out the way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. The fight since the beginning was always about class and never that much about race. Even when Europe discovered South America and Africa, it was more, it was especially at the time where the whole monarchy system fell down, and now the people were starting to newly, categorize their own society. And there is not, I don't think that there's it's a coincidence that as the, like, proletariat started growing, started getting richer, that's exactly also the time where, they discovered new territories to take over and proclaim their own. So race only started then, to come in when those new territories somehow enmesh with their own, right? When the Europeans started coming over to America, and meshing with the natives and meshing with the slaves, then they needed to, to further categorize people, and then race comes in. Like Moriah said, I will say race only comes in at some point. It doesn't start with race, but
Eventually.
yeah, you will not pass that talk at any point in your life, especially if it's in business. Is race only comes in as a political measurement of anything.
Good
Yeah,
point.
I totally agree. I really feel like that it's more about the class. Like the example that you gave, Moriah, is true. I feel like, money talks. Let's be honest, money just talks. They don't really, I mean, I think that's like the first thing. And then under that is like, oh, the whole race thing. But honestly, for the most part, I feel like that it's more about class and, the judgmental issue to me, because you shouldn't be judging anyway, or look at, you're judging a book by its cover. But definitely it happens every day, and it's kind of like you look down upon just because you may not have come from a certain area or whatever the case may be. And it's just unfortunate that if you're black, sometimes it's just like a double hitter, so it's definitely, to me, I think they're both mixed. I think they both play a part, but for the most part, I definitely think that class outweighs it.
All right, all right. So someone else said, I quote, Maybe we should rethink the Black owned and operated concept. It is not always possible to hire a full on Black staff. Some may have a degree or just a freelance experience, but some don't. Depending on where you live, this concept can affect major business ideas negatively. What if a white investor can change your life and catapult your brand to a six-figure business with 10% equity? Imagine missing this kind of rare opportunity just to stay authentically Black owned and possibly never grow. Do you agree or not? Please elaborate.
Well, first of all, I would like to get out of the way that 10% equity is not ownership, it's participation. It's not even significant enough to be called ownership. And ownership, like, who made this concept? I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I just started. I will never put this kind of pressure onto myself to have everything Black, right? I own my business, it's Black owned. Even if I have like 100 white people working for me, it is still Black owned because it is me who owns it. Even if I have white or Asian investors, as long as I have the majority shares in my business, I still own it, right? And it also depends a lot on where you are stated. I think maybe in America it might be different, but in the southern part of Germany, to find a full on Black staff, professionals to work for you, no, just no. Like, no, it's impossible. It is just plainly impossible. You'll be lucky, right? To have every position in your company filled with Black people. That's how I see it. As long as, Black hands are meddling in the business, it's Black owned.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if I'm the owner and I'm Black, then it's Black owned, even if I'm the only Black in the in the corporation, like it's still mine. I do understand or see why people do say the whole Black owned thing, and I think it stands more so behind because for so long we were told we couldn't. For so long we were told that we would never, or always looked down upon. So it always obviously sheds light whenever you just see a lot of Black people doing something that's good or something, going against the grain of what we were told we couldn't do. But I mean, I don't know, like I feel like, hopefully it can come a day where we can all push one another to try to get ourselves out of that pit of thinking that we can't do it, because the reason why the white man comes is because he actually took the effort and the time to try to figure out how to go about the 10% equity or whatever. If we don't know that knowledge, which goes back from us listening to that voice and being told that we can't, then we'll never ever move forward or grow. So to me it's one of those things like, I definitely understand the whole Black owned business, but I also agree with you. It can be impossible because not all Black people want to make that extra move, that extra step. So now what do? Do we just not have a business because Black people don't want to work or don't want to do what they need to do to make it happen? No, I'm still going to go about my business. And if this white person wants to put forth that effort and show me that they want to be on my team, then we can go. If this Asian wants to, if it doesn't matter the race, it's all about who wants to come forth.
I can say I am a little prejudiced when it comes to white people. I went to high school. I went to high school in the suburbs, and I was a part of the business program there. And then I work. Now I'm in corporate America, and I am the only Black girl on my whole team, and the department is 80 people. And it makes me not want to work with white people because I work with white people throughout the day. It makes me like, you know what, if I get my own business or when I'm at the place where I can hire a staff of 20, of course I want them to look like me. We just get each other's jokes, we get each other's language. I know when you got an attitude, because when I get an attitude I kind of act the same way. But realistically speaking, if a white guy or an Indian person or a Chinese person offered me, hey, Moriah, we got $1 million to jumpstart your business. If it looks good, yeah, I'm signing that contract. Like you can fund me. I think that's what it goes back to the original. The other question is, you know, like are we so set on just being us, like almost like the Black Lives Matter thing? Like, are we just so set on us that we're gonna stunt our growth? Just for the sake of how it sounds. Like Black owned sounds beautiful. It's easy for me to find a business that I only trust a Black person to do, like healthcare. I'm looking for a Black doctor, but that only helps to a certain extent, in my opinion. Other than that, you're just stunting your growth.
I agree.
Yeah, because also your customers are not fully Black. I mean,
Right.
that's right. And
Right.
it just repeats the cycle. Like we want to see, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything I just see cycles coming back. So from my point of view, it's very important to me that I do have a Black staff, because the kind of business that I run, it's a little bit well, weird. So but I don't know. It will be hard to find somebody, right? It depends
Yeah.
where you are and what you do and whatever. So I live in a white majority country, and Black people like are just everywhere, but not very near me. It's really weird. So yeah, I think it's your business. You have to do what's best for your business and not let race determine that. If you want, Black operated, then it doesn't have to be 100%, right? Nobody's saying, nobody, like, who is this person telling you that you need 100% Black people working for you, right? It's your business. So yeah, it's just about Google, Apple, everything. There have been a lot of people coming together from this different nationalities, different backgrounds, working on one thing. Nobody was like, "Oh, but I only want white people working here." No,
Exactly.
that is totally
Yeah.
contra
Yeah.
everything you actually want to achieve with your business once you finally decide to take that important and very, very risky step. Um, you should always do what's best for your business first, and everything comes later.
Yeah.
All right, and what about content? Should it be mixed with other nationalities and ethnicities, like Black Pepper magazine, right? Should we collaborate with other races, or should we stay Black only,
I would
content
say be
wise?
careful. I would say be careful with collaborating, only because we live in like this hypersensitive, world now. So, if you do collaborate with somebody white, for example, your Black followers who are like pro Black might not like it, but then those who are in the middle, they might think it's cool, so you might grow your following. So I think that comes down to like your PR person, like if what's the contingency plan if this collaboration with a different race goes south? Like, how do we recover from this? But I think we've all said it. Don't hinder yourself because of something that's trendy right now. Like, we get on these. I mean, I'm a Black woman and I live in America. I live in 2021 America. It's nowhere near what it was when my mom was, when she was born. She was born in the 60s. It's a totally different time. And I have white family. Like my mom was mixed. So I can't say I'm not, don't mix your content, only go for this one group, because honestly, like I think that was Jacqueline that said your customers are going to be mixed. Your readers are going to be mixed readers. They might just like the culture and want to read. But if you're like dead set against every other culture besides Black people, you could potentially lose out on some great collaborations.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Moriah. Again, it will be one of those things. It's almost like flipping a coin, because it's like, do I do it or do I not? It makes sense as to why, of course, have it all, just Black involvement. That's it. That's understood. But again, other people, other races they'll be interested. So does that mean that they have to be excluded? And then I don't know, like she said, it's like such a hypersensitive world that a lot of people could just feel a certain way and then just throw their hands up with it all together, and then there goes the fan base. So if race was just taken out of the equation, period, then we could all just have everything, I think, will flow better. If everybody just kind of worried about more important things, like, what I'm putting out there, is it going to benefit this person, not this Black person, not this white person, not this Asian person, just people. Because at the end of the day, that's what we are. We all feel the same. We think the same. We do the same things. We read, we walk, we eat, we do the same thing. So it doesn't change just because of our race. So that's one of those things that, again, it's like flipping a coin, and you almost will be like, do I really want to do this? Because it makes sense on both ends. But as far as the fan base is concerned, it could take away from that if it was just dead set one race, or just, shed light on just the Black community.
All right. Interesting. So, next question. Due to its lower imports compared to Brazil, the United States' involvement in Atlantic slavery was insignificant. What's your opinion on that?
I think America's always being nosy. We just need to sometimes just mind our business. Like, if you could just stay out of other nations' affairs, like, obviously, if you're what am I trying to say? If you're, a part of that group, like, I have a relationship with you. So if something happens in France, America more than likely will try to do something to help. If something happens here, another country should try to help. But when you just go getting involved and you do benefit from the detriment of someone, but you might not have had a big hand. Like, are you still at fault, or are we saying, well, you didn't really hurt them that bad, but so we'll let you go. Like, no, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, America owes some people. Like, we need to take accountability for some of the things that we've done.
Yeah, slavery was still definitely a thing in the U.S. I mean, just because they were lower doesn't mean it still didn't happen. So yeah, we just need to mind our business and like just take accountability, sorry, for our own actions. And yeah, for sure, like, stop playing a name blame game. That don't work either. That doesn't work either, and I feel like that's happened for so long, and still, we're still here. So now what? Let's just stop already.
Yeah, for my point, I always ask, like, how insignificant can it be when, as soon as the word slavery drops, you are always somehow in association with it. So it can be that insignificant. Like, like, on the contrary, right? People have been forgetting Brazil. It's not that common of a knowledge, right? Or Mexico or Europe, it's getting less and less, like, faded away, but USA stays, right? So it can't be that insignificant.
Like that bad little kid that just don't act right. Like, no matter how much you beat them, you yell at them, put them in timeout, they just can't get it right. That's the U.S., I feel like.
Yeah. Mind of our own. We do what we want. No chill at all.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So let's talk about how much would you say the reparation should cost for hundreds of years of forced servitude? Whether in the United States or in Europe or in Africa, Brazil, whatever. Name a cash value.
I don't think I can put a dollar amount.
It's just impossible. Like, that question is insane, because it's not only why is it only the first servitude? What about the things they stole from, like, the things in the museums, the lives that have been killed, lost? How are we going to amount all of that to one number, right? And Like, yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, I don't really think there's even a number. I mean, even if we tried to sit and think of one, there's too much out there that our minds can barely even hold in. I mean, there's just too much. As soon as we get one big mass of information about something we went through or should be owed to us or whatever, something else comes. Okay, so then something else comes. Like I don't think there'll ever be a number for that. I mean, ever in life, because we went through too much. It's too many loopholes involved.
Yeah, I don't think a dollar amount can cover. I don't think a human life equates to dollars, and I don't think culture equates to dollars. I think culture is culture, and humans are humans. So I don't think we can, like, okay, we say $1 trillion. After we do all the math, we're gonna be like, well, that's not that much money for everybody that we done
Yeah.
screwed over. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to start
Yeah.
again, you know?
Yes, yes.
And who should pay them?
That's easy. That's easier than the first question.
Yeah, right.
For my point, like everyone who was neatly involved in everything.
Yes.
So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of nations. That's a lot of countries. So 1 trillion will not cut it. So maybe they can put that together like 100 trillions, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely the ringleaders, the people who okayed this. They're the ones who should pay. I mean, just hands down, because who else? Like we won't blame it on the innocent person. We're gonna get the people who had their name all over it and who initiated it and who was okay with it and who kept allowing it to happen. They're the ones who I think need to pay up. Absolutely, they caused a lot of this trauma.
My fear is that if the U.S. gets sanctioned, they gonna try to make the black people get higher taxes first.
Oh God.
Like, wait, don't sanction us till I move somewhere else, because America wouldn't be anymore. We wouldn't be able to hold up ourselves if other nations really sanctioned us for what we owe them. So my prayer is I'm long gone before before that chaos starts.
Yeah, that would be a whole war.
Yeah, I ain't trying to.
I don't want no part.
And can you name 3 countries or those who should pay back to Black people?
Spain,
America,
Portugal,
France,
Brazil, Germany, the
Brazil.
Netherlands.
Hold on, wait, we had like 6 now. Hold up.
Yeah,
That's what we're gonna need every nation to pay up, because that's a lot of money. But I know France for sure owes a lot of the islands a lot of
Let's
money.
not forget the UK in all of this. Yeah, right. So we already have like 6 European countries.
So the continent needs to cut a check.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
actually, the only ones who don't own us anything are the Asians. Like, in
we owe them.
comparison to everyone else.
Really.
Right? We have North America, we have South America, well, the Brazil part, anyways. We have Europe. That's like, we have Australia. It's like, it's covering a lot of the world.
The majority.
And I think the interesting part is, out of all the places we named, they're majority white.
Wow.
I think that's the saddest part. Like, again, like I said earlier, like I have white in my veins. My mom was mixed, and that's just a part of our family. But it's hard to get into these talks with them because they know that white people did us dirty. Like, how can you really look your family in the face and try to have these conversations? It's just, that's why right now I feel like politics is just tearing families apart, because we're so mixed at this point, but we still have some trauma to fix. So if somebody was going to pay, I think all the major white countries would have to cut a check or something. They're going to have to do something.
Right.
And what are arguments against reparations?
We gonna blow all the money anyway, so why we need it? That's what I've heard. I did a debate on this. I want to say in undergrad. I went to HBCU. I went to Cheney, and we had to do this debate. And I had to debate for the side that says we don't need reparations. And a lot of the stuff that I researched, honestly, they just feel like we're just going to squander the money. And the people who actually did the deeds are dead now, and some of their lineage is dead too. So it's kind of like, how are we going to blame these new white people who really didn't have nothing to do with it? Which is technically true. They're just living off privilege at this point. They're not actually living off of the labor of Black people, if that makes sense. So yeah, they basically feel like we're just going to waste money, so there's no point to do it.
But
I don't agree with that, but
that's what white people always do and say, right? From an African point of perspective, we have this fight of return our art, right? And the argument against it is always, well, you're just going to destroy it. You don't know how to handle it, right? You don't know. It's always the same thing. Like, you don't know. You will not be able to. And one of the outrageous quotes is like, well, it's us who declared it out, right? Like, it's us white people who declared it out. So, kind of whatever. So it's always the same tactics to be like, well, if you get reparations, what are you going to do with it? And it's true, right? Reliving, it's our ancestors who had the actual pain and the actual, I don't know, thinkable living. Yeah. But there is still one part of all of this where it started, and it's still Africa, right? Those people were, I don't know, stolen from that continent. And we actually know the 5 countries that were mainly, where the plates mainly come from. So reparations should go to those countries. Like, let's keep the people. We are not going to, am I going to fight against you because you're gonna get, I don't know, 1,000 euros more or 1,000 euros dollars less? But the ones that deserve it is still the African countries that are, I don't know, still enslaved to the system that was created through the people that were stolen from that continent.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the arguments against it is basically what the other said. I mean, it's true. Like, they feel like our ancestors is who went through it, not us. I mean, if we really think about it, we wouldn't have even known about any of this had they not decided to put it in history books. I mean, let's just say that we found out about it today, and it's like, oh, so do we owe them now? Like, no. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things, another flip the coin scenario. But I definitely feel like that they feel like we'll blow the money, or we don't deserve the money because it really didn't happen to us, or those who own slaves at the time, they're not even here anymore. So like, why are we even paying them? But I do see why some people feel that we should be owed, because some people are still traumatized. You still do have some elderly who, God has blessed them with a longer life. And, they were even speaking about how, God, I watched them tear gas, those people like they did us when I was a child. Like, some people still deal with that stuff. So I do understand why they feel like we should be owed in a sense, but they feel like I don't think they think we, deserve it or whatever, because as we can agree, like, it happened so many years ago, we don't know our ancestors that went through it. We just know we had some. So it's just one of those things, they don't really see our view on things. And honestly, as much as they may try, they'll never be able to understand it because they're not our skin color.
They're not even trying.
That too. And
it's like they
not
only
even trying.
Yeah, they only care when they owe us something. Like, oh no, we know what you need to do with that, and that's because they owe it to us. But they think we're gonna squander it.
Yeah. So like, they don't deserve it. It's not really their money anyway. And it's just like, listen, you will never understand where we're coming from, whether you try or not. You just never will. I don't think anyway.
right. So, do you think without slavery, the United States, France, I think whole Europe, and would be the leading economic power to
No,
this day?
No, no.
not at all. Slavery was worth $3 billion. That's the $3 billion is a lot today. So that was like trillions back then.
Oof, yeah.
America would not be able to even have explored the West Coast. Like, they were stuck in their little colonies, and cotton and sugarcane, all that got them the ability to build transportation and figure out how to funnel through the country and figure out how we can fly from country to country. Like, a lot of that was built on slavery. So without slavery, I think we would have still been kings and queens in Africa. I don't think we would even know what America is like at this point. Like, it
Mhm.
just no, they'd have been broke up north.
Absolutely.
I mean, the richest man on earth was actually the king of Mali. Even if we
Mhm.
recalculate his treasures or his money, whatever, to this day, he'll still be the
Mhm.
richest man
Yep.
in the world. So, nah, like never.
Nah.
Nah.
Like never.
Period.
Like right? Imagine you have this company and you don't have to pay your workers. So everything that you earn stays with you.
It's a
That's
hundred
how
percent
simple.
revenue.
And like you don't have 10 workers, you have hundreds of them, millions of them. You don't have to do anything, right? You're sitting in the shades of your terrace house drinking tea while black bodies were like picking cotton, picking this, picking that. And if you didn't, right, it was so exchangeable. We were not even worth anything in their eyes. There were
Mhm.
dogs that have been treated better than black bodies.
Absolutely.
So where would they be without us?
Poor.
Nowhere.
Poor. Very,
Yeah,
very poor.
Nowhere.
yeah. Because even like the cash crops, tobacco products, sugarcane, cotton,
Yeah.
all that, none of that even I mean, would that even would have really been surfaced without
No.
slavery? You know what I mean? Would any of that even would have played any part in any of our lives or any of their lives or existed at all without, that push of slavery? Absolutely not. Mm-mm.
I can say that if you're that diabolical as a person, you'll figure out a way. So
Right.
it
That's
might not have been slavery. They might have figured out another way to get rich quick,
mm-hmm.
but
But
I
not
don't
as
I don't
Slavery
collectively
definitely
as
pushed
they
them though.
did.
Slavery just kind of gave them that, that was
yeah.
their ticket. That was their ticket right there. Like they didn't have to work as hard because why they had people doing it for them. I mean, hey, yeah, it's a million
Yeah.
other ways to do things, but no, when you got people doing it for you, it's like, oh yeah, you got that. It's
And it
done.
opened them up to like this whole to the African continent as a concept, right? Every second or third year, the Economists or some other financial or economical magazine brings up a title story, and it always has the same title, right? The news scramble for Africa. It's like always the they are
Mhm.
turning, right, the ownership of Africa is turning, but that also the system that everything we have in our phone, so much resources are still coming from that continent, and people don't know, people don't care. Like your central bank of the US is in the US, mine is in France for some fucking reason, I'm sorry. um and so does it for like 14 other African countries too,
Mhm.
that their central banks is in Europe for some reason.
Mhm.
So there's still a lot behind this system on slavery and its consequences to this day that are not even being discussed on the
Yeah. It's a
like
lot we don't know
mainstream
behind that veil.
mainstream media is one thing, is like one monster we have to kill first, because we can scream as much as we want, they are still able to silence us.
Yes. unfortunately.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All
If
right.
you don't mind, yeah, talk.
After all that has been said, do you still think should we get over slavery? Yes or no?
I don't
Mariah.
think so.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Tiffany.
sorry. I don't think so. I mean, I don't feel like we should just dwell on it, but I don't think that, like, just get over it is a thing. Because I don't think that anybody, whatever the race is, if you were in any way affected or traumatized or pained in any way, like, you shouldn't be forced or told to just get over anything. I mean, we are supposed to feel everything we experience that makes us human, that gives us that teaches us our own value. It opens our insights to ourselves. But definitely something like slavery that has been, taught to us, something they didn't even probably want to teach it to us because it was just that bad. I mean, in a way, it was good that we know. But as far as, like, getting over it, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think to dwell on it, because sometimes when we dwell on things, it can change our moods. And the next thing you know, you want to go out here and beat up like every white person. Listen, just relax. Like, no, like, you're not supposed to do that. We got to move forward. But no, to just say, oh, y'all should get over it or whatever, I don't think so. I don't think anything that you've ever had to deal with or face, you should be told to get over anything. Because then it's like, well, God, like, my feelings don't matter. What, I just don't exist, you know? But, I definitely, like, even me personally, like, if I get thinking about it too much, I got to be like, okay, just relax, like, and then just try to refocus, because I don't want to, like, be all in the mood and all negative after that. I have white friends. Some of my white friends have gone harder than me. They hurt more than me when things like police brutality go on. Like, their whole timeline is just like they're outraged. So there are people out there who really, like, are on our side, and they're white. They're even tired of their own skin color sometimes. I know I would, if the tables were turned. I wouldn't be happy about us doing that to them just because they, hurt us back in the day. I mean, this is a new day, but to get over, no, I don't think we should have to get over it.
I
I
don't
think I
think.
like to think of Michael Jackson. We said it's too high to get over and it's too low to get under, so you just stuck in that middle place. I
Mm-hmm.
think that when you're that traumatized, when something that traumatic happens to a people, it's going to carry on for generations until that final generation says, you know what, we're going to stop. We're going to stop dwelling on it. We'll never get over it, but we're gonna work through this thing. I think that, like they say with 9/11, never forget what happened. I don't think we'll ever be able to get slavery because everything you wear is going to remind you, like, dang, this is a cotton hoodie. Like, we was picking cotton. Like, you look around, like, I'm black and I was born in America. I'm really born to a cursed people. Like, I was born to a cursed, enslaved people in this country. And my mom is not even 60 yet, and she remembers a lot of racism going on. And she's from Philly. And my dad is from down south, and he's almost 60, and he remembers a lot of bad stuff that happened back in the day. And that wasn't that long ago. So I don't think we'll ever get over it. But I do think we need to just work through our emotions and stop letting it, like you were saying, like what Tiffany was saying, like, change your mood and alter your mood because you're dwelling on it so much.
Well, I think we have to we have to move past it. Like Moriah
Mm-hmm.
said in the beginning, we cannot get over it. Till this day, the killing of Jews, nobody's telling them to get over it, right? Because that also is a collective pain. And it was a short time of, compared to our collective pain, it's a relative short time period, right? And but yeah, like both of you said, I think the work starts with us individually. Um because no matter where you are, especially if you're in the US and you feel that much rage already, if you're in Europe and you feel that much rage already, imagine how people in Africa must feel, or
Right.
right? It's just like no
right.
matter where we are, there's some ways, always some pain and some anger that we
Yes,
carry with us. You bear a new baby, and it's like a genetic code that we just pass on to our families, to our children. And it's also just because I don't know. If my son goes out, he will make some experiences that I have made, right? Because we are still around white people who don't recognize our pain. We are still fighting for recognition of that pain, of those periods, that something that happened so long ago apparently can still affect us today. Is
right.
not right. It's just not something that you can snip off. It
So,
affects you on your daily basis due to the people around you, due to news, due to everything. So I think we have a lot of work coming, our direction. Black Lives Matter may be the beginning.
mhm.
I mean, right? I think it is a good beginning because for me, I have just have the opportunity to see that I am not alone. Like it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
flashing everywhere. Like at least you have this feeling. At least there are people popping up where you're like, okay, he, she, it looks like me. He, she, it talks like me, and right, we're just stepping out of it step by step now, and I don't know. It depends on what we are going to do for the future. It can't stop in like 2 or 3 generations. We could do that work. Yes, we could.
Yeah, I agree. And we should be able to do it as a whole. And it would be good if like it wasn't just if it was everyone who had that mindset as a unit, not
Yeah.
just Black people. Let's just all come together as the one human race that we are. Because at the end
Mm,
of the day, you cut me, you cut or I cut you, we're still bleeding red.
Mhm.
We have the same daddy, God. So I mean, what's the problem? We're all one. We're all one, regardless of this race, this discrimination. Just people they don't have that open mind, so they just kind of go with the flow of life. It just kind of being just stagnant when that's honestly not the way to go about anything, because then none of us get anywhere.
Right.
So Black Lives Matter, like you said, hopefully I think it also is a good start if we just stay on it. If we actually make moves and action, and again, it's
Gatekeep.
all about that open mindedness, right?
Mhm.
So
One day maybe we'll be able to look back and say, "Man, we got past that." Like that's
yes,
my goal.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you. It was a really it was a pleasure to watch you guys talk and let each other speak and be respectful to one another. I think you did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Yay.
So will this be featured in the magazine, or this is just like an activity you're doing for your company?
No, no, it will be featured in the
Oh,
magazine,
cool.
and it will be published on our YouTube channel,
Cool. Okay.
Black Pepper Magazine. So you will see yourself in about
uh,
1 week on YouTube.
Good. Glad I wore my city today.
Yes. So any more questions or something you would like to say?
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
yeah, thank
Sorry.
you for inviting us. It was really nice talking to you guys.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
same.
Yeah.
it was different. It was different, and I appreciate the opportunity. It's good for people to be able to come together and share each other's insight with so much going on. Because not one opinion or one political view or one anything matters. When we all come together, it's like art. We can make a beautiful picture.
Right. We
So
can
it's
bring on something.
right, right. So definitely a great experience, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I thank you. And if you would like to shout out your business or your service, what you're doing, or your Instagram, this is the time.
I got a lot going on, so I'll just say you can follow me on Instagram. I'm on Clubhouse too at Moriah_A. And click the link in my bio and you'll see everything I got going on.
I can be followed on Instagram at RasminLaTiffany. I also do a lot of poetry, so I'm on blackgirlscanheal.com. I do a lot of different things. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see, and I'll support you guys too, so we can support each other.
Yeah. And Jacqueline, what about you? Do you want to shout out your business page, your Instagram?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. My internet was not working right now, so I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, you can follow me on Jackie. Like, it's a complicated name. I took my forename, which is Jacqueline, and made it more complicated, and I thought that was a good idea. So it's the writing there. And what I do, well, I read mostly. So I read out some books. I read out some poems, and of course, I have my business Instagram as well, which is called the Afrosphere. So check me out if you want to.
Will do.
All right. Thank you very much. So that was it. And
Cool. I'll talk to you guys. Thanks again.
Bye.
yes.
Have a nice Sunday evening.
Happy
Bye.
Monday. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, guys, that was it. Meet me halfway. Should we get over slavery? I think it was a pretty respectful and a really zen discussion. It was not really a debate back and forth, but it was more like a conversation. A conversation, and I really do like it, and I hope you guys also do like it. And if you did, make sure to subscribe, to comment down below, answer some questions, or just let us know, what do you think about that question? Should we get over slavery? And make sure to follow us on Instagram. We are mostly active on Instagram at Black Pepper Mag. And voila, that's it. And my name is Amina, and I was your host. And see you next time. Bye.